This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with that prize guy. I'm delighted to be joined with one of Ireland's newest professional boxers, Sarah Murphy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am fantastic. It's a Friday morning. You've just announced a few days ago that you were turning pro. You've had the pleasure of being the first person announced on the JB Promotions New Dawn card on the 10th of October. Tell me obviously I guess before we go into your backstory, tell me obviously your initial thoughts now that you've made that jump. You're now a professional boxer. You now have your first fight news underway. You're probably, as they say, you're buzzing like your cousin.
Exactly. The feeling is absolutely phenomenal. I can't even describe it. But I've always wanted to go pro since I was a young age. I just obviously didn't think I was going to be this soon into my career. Like, thought it was going to be a few years down the line, but the opportunity came and I couldn't pass it.
It's one of them, isn't it? Sometimes, we know that boxing's obviously an individual sport, but obviously there's so many people in the background sometimes. But when you've got that ambition of going, I want to be a professional athlete rather than being an amateur, sometimes you're going, let's hurry up and get to the age. Obviously, you're 18, you're now able to fight legally as a pro in Ireland. So now was the right time for you to make that jump.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, I'm only after being done the under 19 competition there up in Dublin last weekend. But once I turned 18, I was like, no, this is what I want to do. So I wanted to turn over and got the opportunity, couldn't pass it down. And I just thought it was the right age to do it. Yet again, I'm only young, so I'm gonna see where my career takes me. I'm in no rush, still young, like.
And it's probably quite remarkable in some ways that the whole of your career, sorry to obviously point it out, but obviously your instant role model, Katie Taylor.
100%, yes. I started boxing when I was 5 years of age. Um, and since then I've always looked up to her. Like, followed her on everything, watched all of her fights on TV. I actually went to the two fights that were in the Tree Arena. Like, she's a role model for everyone, boys and girls across the whole world. Never mind just Ireland, but she's my role model and will forever look up to her.
It's sorry, obviously it's always probably quite ironic. We always lead in with Katie Taylor, but she's done so much for female boxing, not even female boxing, just boxing in general in Ireland. 39 years of age. Her last fight with Serrano there, she probably looked about 24. She was that good. But is it good for you in a lot of ways where you have an instant role model in some ways? Because if we probably look back at Katie, obviously Katie was having to look at Deirdre Goharty and Christy Martin and things like that in the past where there wasn't a lot of role models to have. Was it easier for you growing up as a young female in the sport with a role model of Katie in the background?
Oh, 100%. Katie has always been a role model for me since I started boxing, since day one. Um, like, as I said, like, I'll forever look up to her and always have since I was a young age. Like, I have all of her track suits, have all of her gear, like, I have a glove signed by her. Like, I've met her a good few times. Like, she role model. Like, literally, there's no other way to put it. Like, she's amazing. As you said, she's done so much for boxing in general, not only women's boxing. But yeah, she's fantastic. Like, obviously, I know a lot of people that look up to her, and probably millions of other kids around the world look up to her, not only girls. Like,
It's like I spoke to Kelsey Leonard. She's obviously another Kildare woman. Obviously, the other week when she was obviously announced it going over, and I was sort of saying to her like, Katie's the one person that I've met in person, and I'm sort of she's that aura about her that you idolize her so much, and we know that for 50, 60 years she's going to be regarded as like the Muhammad Ali. She's the greatest Irish sports athlete of all time, but she's that aura about her. Even though she's so nice, you're nearly scared to say hello to her because you're in the presence of like an immortal saint of this game.
yeah, exactly. Like, take it back now. It's my 13th birthday. I was getting ready to go to school and all that, just my normal day-to-day thing. Just coming home after flying into Dublin with all of our belts. And mum and dad turned around to me and goes, right, we're going to Dublin Airport. I was there shaking in the car, being like, oh my God, like that's Katie Taylor. I'm standing up for the Katie Taylor. Like, but yeah, like, you would almost be scared if you seen her, be like, oh hi, can I get a photo? But like, she's amazing. Like I've met her so many times. She's so nice, but at the same time, you're scared to go up to her, and be like, "Hi, can I get a photo, please?" or say hi. Like it's it's incredible. Like
Was
she's
it?
just an amazing person altogether.
I was going to say, was your first sort of words to her is going, Katie, you're my role model. I'm a boxer. I want to follow in your footsteps. Was that the sort of first words you try and break the ice with her and go, I'm a boxer too?
So the first time I met her was down in Bray. She was still amateur at the time, and went down anyways. I was with my dad. Forget who she was boxing, and turned around to her. It was after our fight. Everyone was getting photos because she had her Olympic medal by then. And I was walking up to her with my dad. I was absolutely shaking, had a glove in my hand. Like I was like, oh my God, like I love you. I love you. Like she's amazing. Like obviously I want to follow in her footsteps, and please God I make it to the top the way she has. But that's later on in my career. I'm only looking at what's in front of me at the moment. But
I can see obviously quite a lot of medals behind you. Look, obviously you've obviously had a very successful amateur career,
yeah,
but you've medals nearly probably you've nearly medals for sort of everything. Like you've done a lot in like a short, probably say a short amateur career because what from about the age of 11 you can obviously start in competition things like that. So you're talking 7 years probably at the maximum there, and you've obviously quite a lot of medals behind you.
yeah. So I've 8 Irish titles. I've 8 nationals. Um, lost out on two nationals. They're about 2 years ago. Um, but I've traveled around the world, and please God, I've traveled more. Like I've been to America. My club done us versus America. I've been to Italy for the Europeans, Montenegro for the Worlds. Like I've been to so many different countries, England, like loads of different places, Sweden when I was younger. Like it boxing's my life. I live and breathe, sleep boxing. Like so like my mind just be just running 24/7. Even when I'm asleep, just boxing, boxing, boxing.
Like from the age of 5, if I'm just sort of rolling back, like what got you into boxing at the age of 5? Like, is there history in the family of boxing? Like, I guess probably the good thing is a lot more younger girls are sort of looking at it and going boxing as a career. Like, what for you was the driving factor at the age of 5? And was it like your parents wanted you to be able to learn to defend yourself? What got you into the boxing gym at the age of 5?
Um, so my mum wanted me to start boxing at the time, and my dad was so against it. But I also see my dad watching it on the TV. The only person that boxed out of my family would have been my great granddad, but I didn't know that at the time. And my dad was so against it, was like, no, like you're not starting boxing. My mom finally convinced him and brought me down to the club, and that was it from there then. Fell in love with the sport the second I walked through the doors. Like I was like, no, this is it. Like I done loads of sports when I was younger. Like probably every sport that you could name, and none of them compared to boxing. I was like, no, boxing's my sport. But yeah.
I was going to say, what was it about boxing that sort of, because like, I can remember the first time I into a boxing gym and the first time you sparred and you punched in the nose, and I was like, this isn't for me. It's like you have to have something crazy going on in your head to go, I want somebody to punch me in the face. But I guess the thing for you was being able to punch someone, like you're being elusive, you're able to punch someone, they weren't able to punch you. What was it that driving factor just got you to fall in love with it so quickly?
So obviously, like I built a connection with Paddy Phelan, my coach, and didn't spar for the first few weeks, and was on the bag, and I was hitting the bag, and I was like, oh yeah, I like this feeling. So then eventually, a few weeks later, I got brought into the ring, and it was amazing. I was like, like yeah, like the adrenaline once I stepped in the ring for the first time was incredible. I was like, yeah, I'm going out to box days. But like thinking back on now, you're boxing people for fun. Like it's mad. But now, like, just the adrenaline just kept me going.
And like, I'm guessing probably, the first couple of years was probably learning sort of things because you're not able to compete. You're maybe allowed to be doing exhibitions and things like that. Like, how did you find sort of like the stabilizer moments where they're going, you can come and do the training, but you can't fight. But then you get to the exhibition level. where you're sort of able to have fights away from competitions? Like, did that drive you on more? You were going, now I want to compete. You're probably saying to your coaches, going, "Let me in, coach. I'm ready to fight here." But because of the age limits, was it 11 probably the first competitive fight you had?
So my first competitive fight was 10. I was in Sweden. We went to the Golden Girls in Sweden, and that would have been my first competitive fight. I was turning 11 that year, but I missed out on it because my birthday wasn't until June and we went in February. But that would have been my first competitive fight. But yeah, when I was younger, like all I kept saying to my coach, I want to get in the ring, I want to get in the ring, I want to get in the ring. Like, can I get in the ring? Like, I look down, like I sometimes I'd help out with the younger age when the season's on and when they're training. I hear them being like, "Oh my God, can I get in the ring?" I was like, "This used to be me, like many, many years ago." But I always just wanted to get back in the ring after the first time I stepped into the ring. It's now like just fell in love with the sport right away.
So you sort of found, like, even at the young age of 18, like, you're already knowing that you've that cycle of, you've been there in that, that young person's shoes at a very young age, and you want to learn and help develop, even at a young age for yourself, where pretty much where you'd sort of say, well, I've only done things as an amateur. Even early on, you're going, well, I can help bring these next crop through.
Yeah, exactly. So some nights I wouldn't make it down to it, but obviously because of work, I might get off late one of them days. But like, I love helping them out. Like as much as I can, I do be down there. I'd help them out and hopefully bring them up. And like after seeing now this year, there's a few of the younger ones stepping up into the older group, and they're all like, "Oh my God, I'm so scared." Don't be. Don't be like everyone's obviously still learning, you're still developing your skills but they're getting there. Like I love seeing young kids improve, especially when they get in the ring and they're sparring, or when I see them doing good at like expeditions or even when they move up to the older group, like it's incredible.
It's remarkable to hear that, obviously, a young lady like yourself is only starting out, and you're already looking to that future. But that's what boxing's all about, isn't it? Everybody wants to help everybody, and if you can help inspire one of them kids to follow in your footsteps, even though you haven't done anything yet as a pro, but if you're already keeping that connection open, they're only going to look up to you, and they're going to be inspired by you, and you'll probably be more of a role model for them than Katie Taylor would have been for you.
I'm not 100% sure about that now. Everyone knows who Katie Taylor is. Um, but yeah, I'd like to think that they'd see me and they'd be like, right, yeah, she has an Irish title. I'd like to get an Irish title one of the days. Or like just seeing me helping them out and be like, oh, she's a nice person, like, you know? Um, but now like I love seeing the young kids improving all the time.
It's I know some people might look at that sort of and go, but you're always going to idolize Katie Taylor, but they're going to idolize you because they've grown up alongside you. They're going to look for someone that's close to them, that's done it. They're going to go, but we don't know Katie Taylor. We've only seen her from the TV, whereas they know you in person. So it's only fair that some of them might look at you and go, we want to be the next Sarah Murphy. That's the reality of it.
Yeah.
A lot of them don't know Katie. If they've been lucky enough to meet her, then yes, it might be Katie. But when Katie retires, they're going to look to the next one. So they're going to look to people like yourself, the Kelsey Leonard, the other females making the grade in the professional ranks, and go, we want to be Sarah Murphy, we want to be Kelsey Leonard. So, and it's good. It's going to be not too long down the line. People's going to be going, I want your autograph, I want your picture. That's how quickly it can happen for you.
Yeah, hopefully. Anyways, hopefully the career starts off good and build my way up the ladder and hopefully reach the top. But as I said at the start, like one fight at a time, not looking too far down the line.
You've got your head screwed on very early on. Like, I'm looking at the poster, obviously, for your signed announcement, 8-time Irish national champion, 4 times Leinster champion, um, 2 times Michael Andrews Leinster champion, 5 times Kildare champion, Golden Girls Sweden champion, represented Ireland at the junior championships, represented Ireland at the World Youth Championships, and the 3 times Night of Champions champion. So, like, you've done a lot there. Like, there's a lot for you to be proud of, Sarah, as you start this new journey.
Yeah, I'm very happy with what I've achieved in my amateur career. Um, I would have liked to get a few international medals, but obviously the opportunity came and couldn't pass it down. But I'm very happy with what I've achieved, considering that I've bet the unbeaten American champion when I went over to her hometown. Like I was in her hometown and better, like it's incredible. And then I bet a two-time European champion. I've gotten in with spars with European champions and thought I actually done fairly all right considering I don't have a European medal. Like so, I'm very happy with how my amateur career has went for me.
At what age did was it early on that obviously you dreamed of being a pro? Like, did you ever dream of the Olympics or anything like that, or was it just always, I want to be a professional boxer, I want to be like Katie as a professional rather than Katie or Kelly as an amateur in the Olympics?
So both have always been in my mind. Like obviously, I never hidden that I wanted to go pro. Like everyone knew from a young age, I've always wanted to go pro. But everyone also knew that I would have liked to go to the Olympics. LA 28 was obviously in my mind back a few years ago, and then when I heard boxing got taken out and then it got put back in, like I was like, all right, maybe that is something that I could work towards. And hopefully achieve. But as I said, like the opportunity came with turning over and couldn't pass it down. Like, I'm still young, so hoping that just take one step at a time and not look too far ahead in the road and hopefully I go somewhere.
I
I'm
think
looking to go somewhere. I'd eventually like to be world champion, like,
I think it's sometimes, isn't it, the politics of boxing? Like, obviously, we know of how much controversy and things like that there still is within the sport. Sometimes, like, you only get one chance. Sometimes at the Olympics, I know there's a lot of qualifying and stuff to get there, but you could get robbed of the decision somewhere, and then you have to start again. So, and then you have to prepare for another 4 year cycle. So that can be tougher sometimes. And you go, you know what? Let's just go pro because you're not having to wait 4 years for another stint at going for a world title or things like that. So, in some ways the turn and pro option always seems to be the better option.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously I've won my eight Irish title there last weekend in the under 19s. And the European dates were only released, I think it was like 2 weeks before that or something like that. And they're at the end of October, and they finished the day before my debut. But like as you said, like 4 year cycle can be long if you don't get picked. You have to go then to 28 and then 32, like and so on and so forth. But yeah, sometimes as you said, that might be harder. But I was very happy that the opportunity for me came up at such a young age to turn professional. And I had to grab it with both hands. I couldn't resist it, like, and looking at my amateur career, I was like, I'm happy with everything that I've achieved. As I said, obviously would have liked to get a few international medals, but it is what it is. Like, this is what I wanted to do, and obviously it was a very hard decision to make and a very hard conversation to have with my coach, Paddy Phelan. But at the end of the day, it's what I had to do for myself, for me to take that next step and to turn the page over and start a new chapter.
How obviously when you look back at obviously starting out as an amateur boxer, and obviously your mum was over the moon for it, your dad was very skeptical. How have they felt of your decision to turn pro? Like, are they all both on the same side now? They know that the talent's there. Like, where your dad was probably skeptical in the past, looking after obviously as girl as they do, daddy's girl and things like that. Like, everything's all good with them when you turn pro. They know that the confidence in your ability now to go, Sarah, go you and do what you want to do. We know how talented you are.
Yeah, so obviously my dad didn't want me starting boxing at the start and he was a bit iffy for the first year, I'd say. And then when I was about 7 or 8, then he got involved with the boxing club. And he's been one of my like main coaches all the way up through it. And he's still one of my main coaches now. But my mom and dad are backing me 100%. Like they have so much belief and faith in me that I'm I'm gonna have a good career. And they're supporting me 100%. They're behind me. That my dad actually helped me arrange the meeting with Jay, and like it's been phenomenal. Like it's amazing to have such supportive parents, because I know some young kids out there mightn't have such supportive parents. Um, but now it's absolutely amazing. Like they're behind me 110%. They're right, go chase your dreams now. Now's your time.
Like that, as you just sort of said there, not everybody sort of has that support sometimes, but you having that support obviously is probably adding more to your game, because there's nothing more than having the love of your parents, the support of your parents, for you to go and chase your dreams. I guess they're probably looking at it and going, whenever you get to Katie's age and you've got these millions, they'll be able to retire and enjoy life. You know the way parents are. They go, hurry up and get to the very top so that we don't have to work. We can sit in the house, we can follow you all around the world in Madison Square Garden and everything else, and you can help us in retirement ages.
Yeah, exactly. That's the plan anyways. Hopefully, if I make it to the top, I'd look after everyone. I'd make sure that my family set up, and I'd look after my coach Paddy Phelan very well, because he's been with me since I'm 5 years of age, and I'm actually sticking with him as one of my professional coaches going forward. Um, but now 100%, like they're buzzing for me, but they're not kind of looking at the money side of it either. They're like, right, you go and get as far as you can. And I'm like, get as far as you can. I'm gonna be world champion. I want to be world champion. Like that's my head. That's where my head's at. Like eventually I'd love to be world champion. Please God, be undisputed. But as I said, I'm still young, so I'm gonna take my time getting there.
You're the first female professional signed boxer with JB Promotions as well. Like, Jay and Butch and obviously all the team at JB Promotions, they're less than 2 years sort of running shows, but they're running shows and running them regularly. They've obviously done quite a lot of shows in the Red Cow. They obviously done a show recently here in Belfast. Obviously, you're making your debut in the stadium show. Like, there's going to be a big deal made of you. You're the first female fighter they have, and like Jay obviously has been messaging me privately, and he's obviously saying about how he just can't wait for you to start. Like, this is a big privilege for you. Obviously, the fact that you're the first female sign with them. So, and you've seen of what they've done with fighters. They brought them from the early stage of the development and got them to title level. You look at the likes of Paul Lunham, obviously Glenn, and obviously Jay's brothers. Obviously got the title action. Matthew Tyndall. Like, you obviously have that confidence behind them as well, if they're going to do everything they can to get you to the top.
Yeah, 100%. I was actually in the last show up in Belfast, and that's when we had our meeting with Jay, about the whole turnover. We let us settle down for a few weeks because I had my under 19s. My head had to be focused on that. But then got in touch with Match under 19s, and I was like, no, I think it's go time. Like, I'm happy with the decision. But yeah, as you said, I'm the first girl to sign with JB Promotions. Um, and just can't wait to see where the journey brings me, and please God get to that European title and the Irish title.
Was it an easy decision, obviously, after watching the boxing? And, like, have you been I know you said you've been to Katie Taylor fights and things like that, but sometimes the smaller hall shows are the ones that drive you on more, because you can hear everything, you can see everything a lot more clear. Like, was it easier for you to make the decision after watching the card in the Devonish, or was your decision already made prior to that?
So I was in two minds prior to that. Um, I was like, right, do I stick with amateur? Do I go pro? Like, what do I do? But I was kind of more leaning towards the pro side. Um, but when I was up there, I was sitting back and I was watching the boxing. And I was like, wow, wow, like this is what I want to do. I turned to my dad many times and I just gave him the nod. I was like, yeah, I this is the road I'm gonna go down. And I was thinking that was gonna be very, very soon to be going down this road, consider I'm only 18 and all, but I think after that show my mind was made up. Obviously I was at the Kate Taylor fights and my dad was like, oh please God, a few years down the line or a decade down the line, like this be you selling out Troy Arena, like having to laugh, like, like not thinking that I was gonna be going pro this young. Like it's absolutely incredible. Like, but now 100% after that show up in Belfast was, I think that made my decision up for me. I was like, yeah, no, 100%. This is what I want to do.
11 weeks today, you make your professional debut. Like obviously, I know I've just put a post out there to say 11 weeks. Like, does it feel real for you? Like, I guess the good thing for you is you're returning to a venue in the National Stadium you've boxed in so many times. But does it feel real? Sort of 3 years are still trying to kick in it in 11 weeks time. You'll be obviously putting the gloves on. No head guards, anything like that, and you're obviously you're fighting for pay for the first time.
Um, Obviously, it's the adrenaline is still going through me, but it's starting to feel very, very real. Especially considering I'm getting the little interviews here and there, and just the talks of, right, what do I need to get into place now, the likes of my gear and get my medical done and all this. But now it's starting to feel very real. Um, just, just time to roll on and put on a show.
You're looking to fast forward in time and get it the fight week now rather than waiting for it. It's like waiting for Christmas. Sometimes you're going, what am I getting? It's like fast forward 11 weeks and let's just fight today.
Exactly, yeah. I'm absolutely buzzing, as you said. Like I've boxed in the National Stadium many, many times over my amateur career. Um, from Girl One, the only year that I missed out on boxing in the National Stadium was Girl Two because of COVID. But like it's a place that I'm very comfortable in. I know the place. I know what the feeling's like getting up into the ring. But obviously being making your debut is gonna be completely different. If you're walkout, you're in a completely as some people may say, like amateur boxing and professional boxing are two completely different sports. Um but yeah, I just can't wait to get in the ring and get to fight week already for the weigh in, the fight itself, fight day, just having everything in place and ready like to go and to put on a show.
I guess the other probably things that change from amateur boxing to professional boxing, not only the styles and obviously how to fight, but obviously the costs involved, sponsorship, you're having to sell tickets and things like that. Like this is something that's going to be new to you. Obviously, when you may have had exhibitions in the past, you may have been given a few tickets, but it wasn't to do with the fight. But you're looking forward to obviously the fact of reaching out to obviously people. I guess your talent sometimes will obviously help with some sponsorship and things like that, but you're looking forward to selling tickets, to getting sponsors involved, and obviously them helping the journey because without, as I always say, without the sponsorship, without people buying the tickets, you wouldn't have a professional career.
No, then that's the truth. Like, just have to. I can't wait just to be on fight day, but obviously the cost is the other side of it. Like, like people don't realize how much it costs. I didn't realize how much it was gonna cost to start off, but to what I want to do, and obviously the cost is there, but as you said, like ticket selling is brand new to me. I've never had to sell tickets before for a fight. Obviously, people would go to the door when they're walking into a fight, they pay there and then. Like, but especially like I've dealt with a few sponsorships before when I had to go to the Europeans and when I was going to the Worlds and when I went to America. But like sponsorship isn't too bad, but obviously you're a different level now. You need a different support with sponsorships. Like you need big companies. Um, but no, yeah, just obviously it is a different side, different point of view that people don't really tend to look at, being like, oh well, if she doesn't sell tickets, it's coming out of her pocket, like, or if like different things that people just don't say and I didn't realize, me as the boxer didn't realize until we were looking deep into the professional before I made a decision that it was going to cost. Obviously, I had it in my head that obviously I have to pay to fight. It's going to cost me a bit, but then I seen the figures and I was like, oh. But as I said, like the cost is there, but people don't look at that. People don't see how much it's actually going to cost you. But at the same time, the professional is what I want to do, and doesn't matter the cost. Like, like it's what I want to do. So I'm gonna push for sponsorships and push sell as many tickets as I can, and please God get a good crowd behind me for the 10th of October up in the National Stadium.
Are you looking forward to the fact of seeing how many tickets you can sell? Like, I guess sometimes, we know that, it's a hard slog in this game sometimes, but nothing will fill you more with pride. You know that people are coming from the local area, and as you grow, you know, people's going to go, this is the next Katie Taylor and things like that, which will add a bit of pressure and stuff to you. But like, are you looking forward to the fact of going, let's see how many tickets we can sell, and then let's keep these people as regular ticket sellers and become friends and to become part of the whole team, and going, well, here's my next fight. Are you coming? And see how many people can do all of your fights.
100%. I'd like to now see how many tickets I sell. Obviously, I want to push for as many tickets as I can sell as possible, to get a good crowd behind me and to have a good amount of support there as much as I can. Obviously, I've family that are abroad in different countries that I know that won't be able to make it. I know people in different countries, but like obviously, yeah, I'd like to see how many tickets I can sell and see how many people I can bring to it.
It's one of them, isn't it? Until it sort of happens. The good thing is the fight card's going to be shown worldwide in Thriller, so Thriller Fight TV. So for those friends and family that aren't able because they're in other countries, they're still able to tune in and watch it.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I've had me uncle over in Scotland on to me be like, "Oh, it's on TV, I'll be watching you." Obviously, you're thinking, right, oh, professional debut, it's on TV. Like, wow. Like it does add that small bit of pressure as well to it, but at the same time, like the adrenaline's keep me going and just can't wait to get to fight week. Fast forward 11 weeks, please.
As I say, now you're talking about it more, you're going, no, I just can't wait. What can people expect, Sarah, of you as obviously your style? I guess you're probably your first few fights, you're probably still going to be in that sort of amateur sort of thing that you have. Obviously, Paddy will help a lot with the transition, but what can people expect of you as a fighter as you turn professional?
Well, I'd be for my debut anyways, I'd be going out and I'd be putting on a show. Um, but hoping that they'd be able to expect loads from me. I have many more levels inside of me that I will be showing come fight night. But no, they'd be ready for a good show anyways.
You don't want to give them too much. You want to make sure they buy tickets or they tune in, because if you tell them too much now, they go, well, we don't need to go and see you fight because you've already told us.
Exactly.
It's good to hear you at least giving a couple of points. Sometimes, as we as people, sometimes we can't find positives in ourselves to speak about ourselves. But if you just said, "Oh, tell me about such and such," you would give fifty minutes of answers back. But sometimes, I guess, when you're not given too much, it's coming by a ticket or tune in on the TV and watch, and become thrilled and entertained that you want to continue on the journey with me.
Yeah, exactly. Like obviously, as I said, like I'd love if people can't buy a ticket, I'd love for them to watch it on the TV. But I'd like to get as many people over as and up to National Stadium as I can, and it won't be a night to miss. I can promise you that, anyways.
Definitely. Well, look, obviously we know that the timer's just about to run out. Unfortunately, with Zoom, it only gives us 40 minutes. But I want to thank you for obviously coming on and having a chat with me. Obviously enjoy your next couple of months of preparing for your fight. And we'll see you obviously on fight week for October 10th in the National Stadium.
Brilliant. Thanks so much for having me on.
Cheers, Sarah. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Cheers. Thank
Thank
you. You
you.
too.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Bye
Bye bye.
bye.